how are you? I hope you're good. So today I wanted to speak to you about how I rate my books. I got this question quite a few times in the past and people were like, how do you rate your book? What is your process? And usually my process up until like a week ago or something was I just like, you know, I rate them as I feel about them, which is completely fine, and you really don't need anything more complicated. If you know me, I like to plan things, I like to make lists and categories to sort things by. I also might have been really bored at work, but don't say that. So I came up with a more in-depth system, and so I wanted my ratings to be more precise and consistent. Is this all really necessary? Hell no. But you know what, I thought it would be a fun thing to have, so I thought I will also share my system with you, and I even have an acronym for it, and really it just all feels like an infomercial, so maybe I should just do one. Do you find yourself constantly distracted while reading as you think about all the different aspects and bits of the book and how you would rate it? Do you cry yourself to sleep questioning the accuracy and consistency of your ratings? Do you find you're so desperate you have to consult your cats even though you know they really don't give a fuck? Do you resort to a cult ritual to tap into spiritual guidance? Does this frequently result in your untimely demise? Fear not, now you can simply live your happiest life with the help of Copile. The acronym for this literally sounds like some sort of medication or like laxative. I like it, it's fine. So yeah, the acronym for it is Copile. I had to use an acronym so I would remember it better. So Copile actually stands for characters, atmosphere, writing style, plot, intrigue, logic, and enjoyment. So those are the 7 categories that I found myself personally interested in and something that I feel like I should judge the book for. So some of these categories are very self-explanatory, but I'll go through like a little bit of a detail through all of them. So characters is just if you find that there was enough information, growth, if at the end of it you were really invested in the characters, not just the main ones, secondary as well. Atmosphere is all about the world building. Writing style is very self-explanatory, so I'm just gonna skip that one. So is the plot. Intrigue is for me quite important because as a slow reader I really appreciate when the book intrigues me enough so I want to pick it up, because I also get distracted quite easily, and if the book is sort of not really dragging me into the world, then I feel like I really tend to just put it down after like 10 minutes of reading, and so I don't really do much reading at all. So intrigue for me is very important, and just if the book keeps you in that world and like on your toes. Logic is another one that is really important to me personally, and by logic I simply mean that there were no parts that I had to stop and just sort of be like, huh, that doesn't make sense. You know, there's plenty of times that happens in books, or if something, if a character does something that is completely out of the character's way, and you think like, this type of character would never do something like that, or something in the system of magic system or just the world happens that you feel like even if it's magic, it doesn't follow the magic rules that were previously mentioned, or something like that, you know. It doesn't have to be magic, can just be something that doesn't feel right, because for me it really ruins it. That's one of the things that really makes or breaks the book for me, so I had to include that in here. Because there's nothing worse for me than being dragged into the world and loving it, and then something just like snaps you out of there because it doesn't make sense. And I had to include enjoyment because it's one of my main things that I look for. It's what I usually just rated the books for, but I wanted to include more sort of categories to it, and like so it would be more in depth. So if that wasn't enough, I really liked things to be clear to me and to have clarity, so I made 2 scales of how to turn that rating into a star rating. I did tell you that this is very unnecessary, but you have been warned, you know, so go easy on me. Because I sort of grew up with the 0 to 10 scale, because that's how we were graded at school. It's really close to my heart and it's really dear to me, and I just really think that it's the best system there is, because for me 1 to 5 is not enough of a scale. And even from 0 to 10 sometimes I will put like 8.5 or something, because I like to be as precise as I can, and I decided to go from 0 to 10. on each of the co-pile categories. Co-pile just sounds so silly. I sort of love it though. And for given clarity for myself, I obviously had to separate the scale. So the scales are as follow. From 0 to 3 is really poor. 0 would be absolute trash and something absolutely just horrid. And 3 would be still really bad, but on a better side, you know. Then from 4 to 6 is mediocre. 4 is super mediocre, 6 is mediocre but closer to okay, 6 is a meh rating. 7 to 9 is really good, and 7 again being like really good but on a lower scale, and then 9 being like so good. And obviously 10 is outstanding, and I think that's enough said. So once I rate all of these things on the co-pile scale, I take each of the rating, add them up, and divide them by 7 to bring it to the good old average. So let's say the average is 6.5, and then what do I do with that? I had to calculate my way into a ridiculous transformation to the star rating. Why do I do these things to myself? Anyway, I sat there and rated some of the books that I've already read in the on the co-pile scale, and then decided on the scale to the conversion of it to reflect it accurately through what I've been already rating previously. Proportionately correct, so it wouldn't be one, you know, 0 star and 5 star had to be like the narrow windows, and 3 and 4 star dynamic was the hardest to get because obviously both of them are not perfect, but there's a big difference between 3 and 4. The difficult times. So after a while of testing, I came up that this scale reflects it the best. If the average is 1 or below 1, it's a 0 star. I don't think that will ever happen, but like, who knows, we shall see. If the average is between 1.1 and 2.2, that's a 1 star. If the average is between 2.3 and 4.5, that's 2 stars. 4.6 to 6.9 is 3 stars. 7 to 8.9 is 4 stars, and anything above 9 is 5 stars. So to give you a quick example of that, I recently finished Stalking Jack the Ripper, and my co-pile rating was as follows. So for the characters, I gave it a 7 because I really quite enjoyed them. They weren't brilliant. There was not a lot of development for the side characters. It was very limited on what you get, but for the main ones, I quite enjoyed them. Atmosphere was one of the things that was really driving the book, so I gave it an 8. Writing style was also an 8 because I quite enjoyed the manner in which it was written. I think that really added to the atmosphere a bit. For the plot, I gave it a 5 because at first, because I feel like the book started really strong and then went into a really quite prolonged slump in the very middle, and then it finished off being quite okay as well. So all in all, the middle really brought it back to a 5. Because of the similar reasons, intrigue got a 6 from me because, as I said, it started really strong, so I got into the book. Because of the middle, it was still mediocre, and like I didn't get the momentum going, and the end fell a bit flat because of that. The biggest flaw for me was logic. I didn't have any problems through the whole book until the very end, where our main character, who's supposed to be really logical, and I really adored her for that, and then she completely disregards one thing at the very end of the book and has doubts about the thing that a girl of her intelligence should really not even consider. And I don't want to spoil it, so I'm not gonna say anything more than that. And I got really disappointed in that, and it really pulled me out of the story and made like question the main character as well. So for the logic, I gave it a 3. And enjoyment, I really did enjoy this book, even though I did have moments when I was like, enough with this nonsense, because there was a lot of fluffy romance and irrelevant stuff in the middle. There was a lot of irrelevant stuff in the middle, but overall I really did enjoy it, so I gave it 7.5, and when you add it all up, it's 44.5 points, and if you divide it by 7, it brings us back to the 6.3, which on our scale is a higher end of 3 stars. That is exactly what I think this book was. Anyway, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it somewhat makes sense. Hope you had fun watching this video. Let me know how you read your books. If you just like do it by a whim or just like a general feeling like I used to do, or do you also have your sort of like a system that you use? Please don't judge me on the extraness of this system. Pile. Anyway, I will see how this goes. It's a really fresh system. Maybe I'll change something, but so far I'm really happy with it. As I said, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I love you all so much, and I will see you very soon. Bye!